Okay, so the full-time whistle has just gone behind us here at Oriel Park, and I'm delighted to say we're joined on Between the Stripes TV now by James Rogers, who's going to run through tonight's League of Ireland results from the opening night in the Premier Division. James, thanks for joining us. We'll start at Dalymount Park. It was a narrow 1-0 win for Bohemians. I think many people expected that one to be a cagey one, but Bohs, a rocky home form in recent years, they'll be delighted to get off to a winning start.
Yeah, it's a good start for them, Kieran. I suppose a lot of change there over the winter months, and a lot of, I suppose, unproven players at this level. So, getting off to a good start. Particularly, look, Finn Harp's only newly promoted, but I suppose opening night anything can happen. And listen, it's 3 points on the board and something they can build on. That man, Denny Corcoran, scoring again. He's a good habit of doing that. Yeah, and a lot of people are tipping him as an outside bet for the top goal scorer this season. Now, I'm sure Patrick Hoban isn't going to like the sounds of that, so he's laying down an early marker there, is Denny Corcoran. Yeah, like to be fair to Denny, he scored goals consistently now for the last 4 or 5 years. One of those who always seems to get to double figures, and he's up and running this season. And I think last year he probably struggled for fitness at the beginning, but I suppose on the mark tonight, and 3 points on the board. In the other game, Derry 3-0 winners over UCD. That's a nightmare start for UCD. Obviously it's such a tough place to go, the Brandywell, but they would have preferred to be a bit tighter than that, I think, on the score sheet. Yeah, I think people were maybe expecting a lot of UCD coming up to play it here in the Cup last year, and were very, very impressive. Derry, I suppose, a bit of an unknown quantity. They've signed a lot of players maybe from outside the league, and we didn't know what to expect him, but that's a great start for Declan Devine. I think he's done things right. I read during the week he was taking the players around, showing the history of the city and all that, so that's something to build on now for them. If those players can bed in quite quickly, it could be an interesting start up around the Brandywell this season. Yeah, well, Parkhouse looks a big unit up front, and got the opener there tonight, and it's certainly, again, as I say, it's something they can build on. What about St. Pat's and Cork? That's a huge start to the season for Pats. Obviously, so many are tipping them as outside title challengers. Cork, many people tipping them to have a much tougher start and much tougher time this season than they have in the last couple of years. That result maybe suggests something. Yeah, well, it's hard to read too much into opening night results, I think, but it's again, all you want is a start, and momentum can be a great thing in this league. Michael Drennan off the mark. I know another man that's probably going to be many people's outside bet, maybe in each way for the top goal scorer. Yeah, because you look around the league and there's not many you'd probably back to get even double figures, and he's certainly one who has the potential to do that. And listen, it was a penalty, but you take them. I believe they withstood early pressure in that game. There was question marks over their defence, maybe probably conceded too many last season, and listen, it's a great start for them. As for Shamrock Rovers, they came from behind. I think from reading reports, the first half was very like here. Waterford under large spells of pressure, and then they go and score a screamer of a free kick. I'm after seeing it online there from about 25 yards out. But Rovers showing great character come back. That's the type of character they're going to have to show if they're going to sustain a title challenge this season. Yeah, it's the result of the night for me, because you're looking at a half time and they're 1-0 down, and you think, they've struggled with bad starts in recent years, and even a draw probably might have left a bit disappointed, but to come away with a winner, and sometimes the nature of a late winner like that it's nearly as good as a 5-0 win sometimes, because you're going down, and the bus home tonight, and all the supporters, they're just going to be great confidence now heading into their first home match next week. Yeah, and Rovers sold out their away allocation down in the RSD tonight, so that momentum, if it builds, it can build very, very quickly. Exactly, and they have added in new players, like Jack Byrne played tonight, Aaron McAniff played tonight. They finished the season very strong, and if they can continue that into the early stage of this season, they'll have to be thereabouts. Finally, let's talk about the game that happened behind us here. Dundalk on top for large periods, but it just was one of those nights the ball just wouldn't go in the net. Well, it went in once, but they needed another after that. Jack Heaney free kick. Yeah, I suppose Ed McGinty was inspired tonight. He saved the early penalty. Unfortunately, Robbie Benson, bad injury in that, hearing a fractured tibula or something, but it's I think that maybe unsettled Dundalk a little bit. They had chances after that, of course, but I think it certainly seemed to sap a bit of the atmosphere out of the ground. I mean, the shed was hopping there in the first couple of minutes, and then that injury happened. Everyone could tell it was quite serious. Obviously concern for the player then, and things just went a little bit flat for a while. Yeah, and it probably helped Sligo a little bit, because Dundalk came out and they were all guns blazing. Brian Gartland had an early header over, and it probably, they did come back into it after that. Sean Murray had a great chance with a header, and I think McElhenney hit the outside of the post with a free kick. But I think they'll be disappointed with the goal they conceded. No disrespect, Jack Heaney took a great free kick, but I didn't think the wall was right. Thought Gary Rogers maybe could have got over to it a bit quicker, but fair play to them. They showed they're up for a fight this season, because again, they were one of those teams you're kind of wondering how will they be
when they're up against it, how they might be.
Yeah, like because there's a lot of, like, I hadn't seen Dante Leverock before tonight, hadn't seen Romeo Parks. You know, they have a few players still to come back, like David Cawley and Ronan Murray will be great additions if they can, you know, get back fit in the next couple of weeks. And then there's still a week to go in the transfer window too, so you wouldn't know what any team will add yet.
Sligo, very physical tonight. It's not something you always associate with a Liam Buckley side. What did you make of their approach?
Yeah, at times maybe the referee did them a bit of a favour. I'll probably sound biased.
Did you think the goalkeeper should have stayed on the pitch, or at least a yellow card surely should have come after the penalty incident? Well,
I know the rules have changed in recent years, so it's not automatically a red, but I think a player picked up a serious injury from it. It was totally accidental, of course, but it should have been a yellow card. But he knew what he was doing by pulling them down. I know the injury was accidental, but to not get a yellow for that, I think there was a few challenges as well. Like Leverock was on a yellow and went through Patrick Hoban on the halfway line as well, and you're saying
we've seen Patrick McElhenney actually reacting to a tackle as well he received and getting a yellow card for his reaction, so there was quite a bit of off the ball stuff tonight. Yeah,
and McElhenney's on crutches now, so it could be a very costly night for Dundalk when you think Benson and McElhenney, like if they're out for any significant length of time. It looks like Benson will be out for several weeks. We don't know about McElhenney yet, but
he's left the ground on crutches there, so
yeah, not good. Like Jamie McGrath still hasn't come back into the fold yet in terms of pre-season. Maybe he might get a run in the Leinster Senior Cup on Monday, but Jordan Flores hasn't played yet either, so like they could be a bit light now in that section, you know, going to Finn Harp.
Do you think maybe Dundalk might look to dip into the transfer window? There was already talk that they were looking to add another midfielder, 2 injuries tonight to key midfielders, so will Vinnie Perth be tempted to dip his toes into the market one more time?
I think they are looking for one more. Wouldn't shock me. They signed obviously Cameron Dummigan tonight before the game. I think it would not surprise me. I know they're looking for one more, certainly an attacking sort of player, but we'll see. I think a lot could depend on the X-ray results tomorrow. I think both players have been sent for scans in the morning, and you know, depending on how they turn out, that could shape what he does in the next week.
Well, James, it's been a pleasure having you join us here at Oriel Park after tonight's game. Thanks very much. Folks, we have interviews coming up here from Oriel Park, and also we should have some interviews from Richmond Park and Dalymount Park. TV, a 1-1 draw here at Oriel Park. Liam, you must be absolutely delighted with that result on the opening night.
It's a great point from where we're at. In fairness, Dundalk were decent on the night. They've created all the chances. That said, our lads have dug in. They've worked extremely hard. We've defended numbers. I won't say we deserved it. In fairness to Dundalk, I say they have created a lot, but that said, it's a great point.
Is it fair to say that perhaps in the first half, obviously you got your goal, in the second half I thought Sligo actually showed a lot more attacking intent?
Yeah, look, we'll get better with the ball. You can see Dundalk how confident they were with their passing and their style. They're at that 4 or 5 years. We're at the 6 weeks, so we will improve definitely from a passing point of view. I know the lads that we have technically are very good, so there's no reason why we can't put a stamp on our style. That said, you can't take away tonight a bit of character and a bit of balls in relation to standing up and being counted. Win your headers, win your tackles, get your blocks and all that sort of stuff. They were great.
I was here last season when Ed McGinty pulled off a man in the match performance, even though Sligo went down very heavily in that game. What about his performance tonight?
He's a top keeper. We've treated him actually. Luke McNicholas himself and Mitch Meaney, they're all super. Had a difficult choice to make in relation to picking them, but in fairness, I thought it was a fairly good choice tonight.
And very tight results all across the league tonight. It looks like it's going to be ultra competitive, this Premier Division.
It's still rough. I've said this week's back, there's no easy games, and you need to be careful. The minute you think you're going to win a game, you can get a kick right up the ass. So you got to make sure you're at it every game. And in fairness to our lads, they've worked extremely hard for the 90 minutes on and off the ball.
And everyone's come through fit and fine after that?
Yeah, no problems. We're just looking to get we've Ronan Murray and David Cawley to come back into this group and see where we go from there.
Any update on Murray? Because obviously he was probably the marquee signing, it's fair to say, for Sligo. And
yeah, he just went over the ankle a couple of weeks back, so hopefully he might be okay for next week, and we'll see how that goes this week.
Liam, well done, a great result. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Gill joined us on Between the Stripes TV after a 1-1 home draw in the opening game of the season here against Sligo Rovers. John, good performance, I think it's fair to say. The ball just wouldn't go in one of them nights.
I think so, Kieran. Listen, if we're standing here and we hadn't created a chance, thought we were by far the dominant team. 7, 8, 9 chances, well 7 chances anyway, a missed penalty. Listen, we're disappointed. We're probably more disappointed with the 2 injuries that we picked up. Not disappointed the way that we played. We're disappointed maybe that we weren't more clinical. We'll dust ourselves down, assess the injuries tomorrow. We've a game to prepare for on Monday night in the Leinster Senior Cup, which will give other players a chance that need game time. And then we'll focus on Finn Harps on next Friday. But it's not doom and gloom. You will get other Other people will, might start thinking there is. We were very, very positive tonight. We're very positive in the dressing room. The players are disappointed, but they're only disappointed because they know they probably should have been more ruthless in front of goal. So there's no panic around here. We have a fantastic squad, and I think some of the football that we played was top draw.
Yeah, it was certainly a very positive start to the game. Great atmosphere on the ground. I think it's fair to say the atmosphere died down a little bit after that injury to Robbie Benson. Obviously very worrying. Can you give us any type of update on him yet?
He's gone, Kieran, for a precautionary X-ray. We're hoping that it's not serious. We won't know until probably later on. Patrick McLeany as well as an injury. We're hoping that's not that serious either. He's been assessed in there now. He's struggling to walk. So we'll just have to assess those. They're the only two, to be honest with you. Obviously, you're disappointed you don't win a game, but you're not disappointed the way that we played and the amount of chances we created. It's annoying because we worked on a lot of finishing this week in training, and we said that to the boys on Tuesday. We done about half an hour of finishing, and the ball was going in from every angle. Just got to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal. As I said to you, if I was talking to you here and we hadn't created a chance and we were huffing and putting, maybe could have shown a little bit more composure in the last third. In the second half, got to give them credit. They dug in and defended for their lives, but we've got to look at ourselves, and we'll do that as an honest group. They're an honest bunch of lads, but there's no panic. We'll dust ourselves down, and if we create half the number of chances that we created tonight, we'll win more games than we lose. We
spoke here after the pre-season game against Longford Town, and you had no issue highlighting the abilities of Sean Murray. He showed it with that strike.
Absolutely, and he probably, Kieran, by his own, he'd probably be disappointed he didn't score a hat-trick tonight. I mean, he missed a header in the first half. He done really well to get on the end of it. I thought some of his play, considering it was his first game, real kind of any sustained game time with the players since he's come back, since we signed him. I thought he was excellent, and he's only going to get better. We know, you've seen tonight, he's a quality player. He can strike it with either foot, and on another night he would have had a hat-trick.
And Patrick Hoban obviously missed that penalty early on. He missed one here last year against McGinty as well, who had a fantastic game, it has to be said, on the night. But do you feel maybe that affected Pat's performance going on? He certainly had a quieter night than you'd expect from him. Yeah,
he had another chance in the first half. But Pat will always listen. If he wasn't getting there in the end of things for chances, he missed probably a header and maybe another 1v1 chance. But the thing is, he's there to miss them, and he'll score more. If we create the chances that we created tonight, he'll end up with another 29 goals, not sure. Now, we mightn't create as many chances as we did tonight, but if we create a third of the chances that we created tonight, we've nothing to worry about. We have big characters in the dressing room, we've got quality finishers, and they'll step up to the plate.
Finally, a tight start to the season all across the ground tonight, very tight scorelines everywhere, and obviously Dundalk had a slow start last season, drawing 3 of their first 4, so important to go and get the win now in Donegal next week.
Yeah, it's important in every game. Important on Monday night to go get the win against Athlone in the Leinster Senior Cup, so we go out to win every game. As I said to you, I keep going back and I said it to the boys, we're not unhappy the way we played. We played some great football and stuff that we worked on, bore fruition tonight in some of the chances that we created. The disappointing thing I said to you is repeat myself, the 2 injuries. We'll dust ourselves down. We have a good squad. We have a great group of lads. And, we'll push on from this.
Sorry, there's always one more, but that game on Monday against Athlone, can we expect to see plenty of rotation?
Oh, yeah, we will. There'll be a lot of changes. And I'd be very surprised. There'll be nobody that started tonight to start in that game. We have a lot of guys, looking to get some game time in to show what they can do, and they'll be given an opportunity on Monday night.
John, thanks very much. Gartland joins us on Between the Stripes TV. Brian, reaction to that result, 1-1 on the opening day here against Sligo Rovers?
Disappointed, obviously, to drop 2 points, but the performance, anyone here is evident to see, or even on telly. We started off like a house on fire, and the football in the first half was brilliant. We just, I suppose, we're disappointed we weren't clinical enough.
Yeah, the long break with the injury there, it seems to just take away the momentum. Even for Patrick, they're taking the penalty, I'm sure it wasn't helpful. And even after that, I was saying to John Gill, the atmosphere around the ground seemed to just dip, obviously, with the concern for Robbie Benson.
Yeah, it did, I suppose, with the long break, like you say. But even after we went at them and we created chances then, we're just disappointed, I suppose, to concede a soft goal like that. And you're trying to claw back into the game. Whereas you could feel a goal was coming the whole time, and I suppose it gives them a little incentive just before half time, and they get that goal to see it out to half time.
But from your own personal point of view and performance, I suppose, as a defender and as a back 4, you gave up very, very few chances. In fairness, you could say that Sligo free kick was not only one of their first attempts on target, they really didn't have a foothold in the Dundalk half for large parts of that first half.
Yeah, for the first half, I don't think they had any other efforts. The second half, they had one effort in the whole second half as such, I think. So we're happy, but there is, there's stuff to be worked on there in terms of across the back 4. Going forward, obviously they didn't have many chances, but we can be a lot better, and we all know that.
Obviously, your first game here as captain, well, officially as captain, I'm sure you've stepped in before, but Have you found any differences? I noticed a few times you might have had to get in between a couple of players there for free kicks to maybe have the say on who was going to take them.
No, I don't. No different really. You know, we all just play our same game, and there's lots of leaders out there. Some don't do as much talking. They do, you know, what they do on the pitch, and others are fairly vocal. And you need that mix, and we've a good dynamic in the dressing room. But yeah, I'd like to, in terms of the set pieces, we've got our things, but you just need a bit of communication to make sure. And we were excellent with our set pieces last week, and we created a couple of chances in the first half from things. So it's something that's I think is really important to us. So obviously I try to just make sure we're on top of it and organised, and you know, giving ourselves every chance to attack them. It
is quite an array of options though from free kicks around the box. I mean, you've Dame Massey there, you've Patrick Hooban, you've McElhenney, the list goes on. I'd say there's some crackers going in training every day. Yeah, they were doing them yesterday, and they switched over to one side and they all started nailing them in top bin. Poor Aaron was in goal, there's nothing you could do about it. And you've that much talent there that, you know, you've many could step up. So it was, I suppose, disappointing tonight that Patrick's one just tips the post. It's a couple of inches from going in. The others, you know, we've clipped the wall, and we haven't worked the keeper enough. Big trip up to Donegal next time. Very tough place to go. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, listen, we look forward to every game, especially when you're back into the season now. Last week, you're always looking forward to it, but it gives you that little bit of a buzz, you know, when you get the atmospheres like that and the games like that. And tonight, I suppose, there's a setback in terms of 2 points dropped, especially the way we played. So you just want that game to come next week and go up there and right the wrongs.
You can sense the disappointment around the place tonight because, as you said, Dundalk on top for large periods created so many chances, just didn't go in tonight really. I get the sense a lot of the senior players like yourself would actually love to play on Monday here against Athlone.
Yeah, you just want to play matches. You know,
John said that won't be the case now, but
yeah, well, I suppose, you know, we've such a big squad here. Yeah. Anyone can be playing, but yeah, like you touched on it there. It's a bit of a disappointing atmosphere, but it's disappointing because we've dropped 2 points. It's not disappointing with the performance overall. Like, we were so good going forward, especially that first half, and it was some of the best football you see here over the years. It was, you know, replica of that. So you've got to take the positives from that, and like I said, just work on the finishing going forward.
Brian, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, really. Best luck.
Come on, fair play.
Cheers.
Thanks, see you again.
Delighted to be joined on Between the Stripes online TV station by Cork City manager John Coffey. John, for the second season in a row, you started away to St. Patricks, but unlike last year, you've ended up on the losing side.
Yeah, it was that type of game. First half an hour, we had opportunities. Brendan Clout made 2 very good saves. Conor Mack, one of our centre backs, had a free header as well after 5 or 6 minutes. So we had 3 chances, and it was just that type of night. We gave away a soft penalty, and second half, in fairness to Pats, they dug in, got men behind the ball, and made it difficult for us. And we had a couple of half chances second half. Didn't create enough, but overall, my lads did very well. It was a high intensity game, very frantic at times. So yeah, we move on to next week.
Just looking at the positives, in particular, a new signing, Darragh O'Connor, coming in from UCD, done exceptionally well in his Premier League debut after making a step up from playing the first division with UCD last year.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's done very well last week. And you know, we've a number of new players. Dan Casey at the back, Kevin O'Connor came back in. It's like I wrote before the start of the match, young James Tilley. So it was, you know, this is every week, every game is tough, no easy matches, so the lads have to get used to that. So from our own point of view, we're just disappointed because we had opportunities to score and we didn't, and you just move on to next week.
And he's mentioned next week back at home, Turner's Cross. Always a good occasion in your first home game, and throw in the fact that it's a Munster derby against Waterford.
Yeah, it'll be something similar like tonight. It'll be frantic, it'll be both teams having a right go, and it'll be hell for leather. So we need a huge support next week and see can we get a couple of points on the board. We need to score a few goals, so we'll be working on that during the week.
You brought in a couple of new bodies, particularly like Neil Nash this week. So are you still looking to bring in a few more players, because obviously midweek games are still very thick in the first couple of weeks of the season?
Yeah, no, we're done. We're done with what we have, yeah.
Cheers, John. Thanks very much for joining us on Between the Stripes online TV station.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Delighted to be joined by Gerard Bryan here on Between the Stripes online TV station to talk about St. Pat's 1-0 victory against Cork. Gerard, you can't ask for much better start to the season. 1-0 victory at home, clean sheet against a team that finished second last year.
Yeah, really tough game. I thought we've battled well, and obviously we knew it was going to be really tight. Cork are obviously coming here, and they've done so well over the last number of years, and it was all about kind of us grinding out a result towards the end. They put a lot of balls into the box, but I thought we defended really well. I don't really remember Brendan having many saves to make, and obviously the penalties, the difference in the first half. But I thought overall it was a good game, entertainment, good crowd, and a nice way to start the league here in each door.
How much would the clean sheet be pleased, Nelvin? Because Pats only kept 9 here last year. They could see 25 goals at home. That was the worst of the top 5 teams in the league last year.
Yeah, it's something that we spoke about in pre-season, that we need to keep more clean sheets. You know, we have a lot of very, very good attacking players in the team who score goals, but it's very important that you keep clean sheets down the other end, and that gives you a platform to go and try and win games and get results. And it's a good start because not many teams will keep Cork out this year to 0. So overall, I'm really pleased.
Cork have only lost twice in the last 7 visits to Richmond Park. Is that something that players would look at statistics like that, or is it something they ignore because there's going to be occasions where statistics fall in their favour and that can lead to complacency?
Yeah, I didn't know that, to be honest with you. I'm here 7 or 8 years. We've had fantastic games against Cork when we were on top, and obviously when they've been on top. But overall, it's no, not really. We wouldn't look too much into it. We kind of watched them in pre-season. We watched them last week, and we kind of know the attacking threat that they have and the ability they have all over the park. So overall, it's just one of them nights where you know, we've both probably played well to an extent, and you know, the difference was a penalty, which we were fortunate enough to get. It was Conor Clifford done great. He's taken down, and Mikey slotted away lovely. So it's a good start.
Looking ahead now to next week, Sligo Rovers, a team you know very well, of course, and of course they got a very positive result, drawn 1-1 with Dundalk tonight.
Yeah, really good. We heard it after the game that they were winning 1-0, and obviously they've drawn up there the champions. So we'll have a look at the game, we'll watch it, and we'll see what way they played and how they played, and we'll kind of take from there. But we obviously know Liam really well. We spent such a long time with him. We'll know what way he'll set up and like to play. But Showground is a great place to go. Really good stadium. Pitch is normally in really good condition. So hopefully it'll be another good game.
Stuart, thanks very much for joining us on Between the Stripes online TV station, and best of luck with the rest of the season.
No problem. Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers, thanks, Stuart.
No problem, man.
Obviously, you scored the winner. Thoughts on the game?
Yeah, delighted obviously to get off the mark for myself early. It's important. More importantly, the 3 points on the board, and it's a decent performance. Obviously, a lot to work on. It's not going to be perfect the first game of the season, but delighted with the 3 points, so we'll kick on now.
Yeah, and obviously, I suppose towards the tail end of last season, you had a great run of form, and you know, scoring the first game of the season, I suppose that's a great confidence boost for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm delighted to get off the mark early, like I said, because it took me a while last season, I think, and I was injured in pre-season last year and things weren't going well, but I've managed to stay fit and healthy this year, and I've enjoyed pre-season. I've worked hard, and hopefully it pays off now, and it's a good start.
Yeah, and how's pre-season been at Bows this year? Obviously there's been a few notable departures, but there's been a few notable, I suppose, additions to the squad here.
Yeah, it's been good. We've worked hard, and yeah, it's going to take a while to gel properly, I think, but a lot of young lads coming off from England, they feel they've a point to prove, and they're not used to the league as such yet, so I think we'll improve week by week. But yeah, obviously we lost key figures from last season. That happens every year. We have to get on with it, and the young lads seem eager and hungry to improve, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and what kind of impact have they had on the squad? Have they, I suppose, brought in a bit of, I suppose, a new freshness to the squad?
Yeah, definitely younger anyway. I think I'm the second oldest in the squad now. I couldn't believe when I heard that, but yeah, young and hungry and lively, and they want to make a name for themselves in this league and possibly go back to England, so they're showing eagerness, and it's a nice freshness to the dressing room, and I'm enjoying it so far. Long may it last.
Yeah, and I suppose looking at yourself anyway, personally, do you have any targets for this year?
No, I don't really set targets. I just look to score every game I play, and that's how I don't pick numbers or anything. Just every game I look to score.
Yeah, and I suppose obviously next week, you know, there's 2 Dublin derbies in the space of 3 days. You know, the UCD first. I suppose all the focus will be on that, but will there be maybe, I suppose, an eye cast on the Rovers game?
I'm sure the supporters will have an eye cast on it, but we just have to focus on UCD. It's not going to be an easy game out there. They're a good side. We've seen them last year, and obviously Rovers on the Monday, but we'll focus on that after the weekend and after the UCD game, so we're fully focused on UCD.
Yeah, I'm delighted to be joined by Bohemians midfielder Keith Ward after a good 1-0 win over Finn Harps. Keith, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, you know, first game of the season, it's always going to be tricky, you know. No, just obviously delighted to get the 3 points, try to start the season as well as we can, and you know, it was a great crowd here tonight, first game of the season, so it's a great thing for me.
Yeah, and what did you make of the challenge of Finn Harps? Obviously they're just up from the first division. Were you surprised by them?
No, not really, you know, to be fair, they are a good side, and you know what you kind of get with Finn Harps, they're always going to be tough and dogged, and you know, they threw a lot of this towards the end of the game with their long throws, and you know, they put a lot of bodies in the box, but to be fair, a 1-0 win was great for us, and to see it out was great, so I was delighted.
Yeah, and were you worried at all towards the end of the game when it was only 1-0 and you saw Harps, you know, pushing forward a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. 1-0, no matter what team you're playing, the game's always in the balance. And to be fair, I think we should have had a few chances to maybe make it 2 or 3 now. But we dug in. They were, like I said, they were pumping balls in the box and they had long throw-ins. And to be fair, we saw it out well, and the defence and the keeper and maybe the midfield too were great for us, and we dug it out.
Yeah, and obviously we saw, I suppose, the debuts of Luke White-Slater and
Manziel, if you want me to pronounce it.
Yeah, and what do you make of their performance? Obviously they were seriously impressive tonight.
Yeah, I thought both lads and James Finley and Connor, all 4 lads I think, and James and goal, actually 5 lads were excellent tonight. It's obviously tough coming back from England into this league. I never played in England, so I don't know, but I'm sure it's completely different here. 23s and 19s games, so no, I thought they all settled in very well. Danny Manziel showed a lot, and maybe Lukey could have got himself on the score sheet. He's disappointed in there, but no, I thought they settled in very well, and I think the home fans will be happy with them this year. Yeah,
and obviously it's been an off-season to change at the club. Obviously there's been a lot of departures. How have things been during the off-season here? Obviously there's been a lot said. For you, has it changed at all here?
No, well, it doesn't change as in the way Keith and Trevor set us up. No matter who comes and goes, we're always going to be what we are here. We're a hard working, honest team, and we try to get down and play well. So no matter who comes and goes, that's our identity here, I suppose. So no, the boys have settled in well. It's a great place to come and play football here. The fans get behind you, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the Welsh lads do this year.
Yeah, and obviously look, next week it's I suppose 2 Dublin derbies in the space of 3 days. UCD first. I'm sure all the folks will be on that, but big Rovers game the Monday after. I suppose all the focus is on UCD, but I suppose it's all about the Rovers game at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, no, look, you can't look ahead. You can't look past the weekend. There's no easy games. UCD come up. They're capable on the day of being as good as anyone the way they play football and get it down, and some of the young players they have. So look, we can't look at the Rovers game. You just want to get out to the ball, try to get another 3 points, and look, if you win that, you're bouncing into Monday. Not that you're really motivated to get up for that, but to come in off another good result out on the ball would be a great way to set up the derby on Monday.
I think the game.
I thought it was quite tight at times. I think both teams didn't have much. There wasn't a lot in it, obviously apart from the goal, but I thought we could have nicked the draw at the end, and I'm not sure about the goal, whether it was offside or not. I have to watch it again. Yeah, and obviously I suppose we saw you play left back tonight. Obviously you were centre back at Longford. Is that something we can maybe expect to see a bit more from you this season? I'm not too sure. Obviously I want to play, so I'll do a job for the team wherever, preferably I want to play centre half, but I don't mind. Once I'm playing, I'm happy. Yeah, and look, how have you found working with Ollie Hogan so far? Obviously, I suppose it's a kind of a new style of football to you from playing with Neil at Longford for 18 months. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's obviously different, and it's adapting wise, it's different than what I've been at Longford for the last 2 years or so, especially under Neil. But we've a great group of lads, and Ollie tactically is very good, so hopefully over the next few weeks we can get a few results and see what happens from there. And obviously a few words on tonight. I suppose this is your first game in the Premier Division in about 2 years. Have you maybe found the transition from First Division to Premier Division football based on, I suppose, tonight's game? Well, straight away it is quicker, and obviously the quality of players is better, because otherwise it wouldn't be Premier in First Division. But it's not like it's something I was excited for at the start of the season, and it's something I want to test myself against the best players. And obviously we've Dundalk on Friday, so that'll be another massive game. But if we get a good crowd at Finn Park, you never know what can happen. Yeah, I suppose what's the aim in the dressing room at Hearts? Obviously, I suppose a lot of people are saying Hearts are, I suppose, they're set for relegation, but I suppose in the dressing room there's a quiet belief that you can, I suppose, upset the apple trees in another way. Yeah, I think especially at home, I think if we get a few results we can surprise people, and it's hard to judge it on one game, like there's 35 games left, so we have our own expectations, so we'll just go about it quietly.